This presentation is a collaboration between Drs. Chowan, Mann, and Cook and the workforce planning boards in the Western region. We will provide an analysis of the Employer One survey data collected in 2015. We would like to begin by providing the background behind this research project. This collaboration includes several partners in both industry and academia. While the workforce planning boards collected the survey data, Drs. Chowan, Mann, and Cook completed the analysis of the data with future plans of publishing in academic journals and presenting at academic conferences. We are extremely excited about our involvement in this project and about the opportunity of future longitudinal analysis. While each of the workforce planning boards conducted analysis of their own region, our research was able to aggregate all of the data from all regions and analyze at an aggregate level. Our research has allowed us to examine the mean of the entire dataset and determine which regions were above and below this benchmark for each variable of interest. Our analysis also provided an opportunity to highlight which findings were substantially versus statistically significant. A significant amount of time was spent cleaning the data to ensure that all missing data were treated consistently. Locally generated results may vary by region if missing data were treated differently, and this can result in comparisons between regions being imprecise. In other words, while each region conducted their own analysis, some regions included organizations with missing questions, while other regions discarded entire organizations with missing questions, thus making it difficult to make comparisons across regions using their own individual analyses. Therefore, we were able to provide comparisons across regions with our aggregate analysis by treating all missing data consistently. This slide provides the descriptive statistics for our analysis. While 1,914 organizations were surveyed, after correcting for missing data, the final number of organizations in our analysis is almost 1,500. The number of organizations is provided for each of the 9 regions, or workforce planning boards. 78% of these organizations were a head office, while the rest were a branch. With respect to the life cycle of the organization, 74% were established, 19% were considered to be in the growth stage, and 7% were startups. In the detailed presentation, we provide a breakdown of organizations by industry, as well as an analysis on key variables of interest, including wellness, separations, hiring, and support for training, as well as a comparison across regions. Our analysis also provided findings on which regions were not only substantially different, but significantly different from each other. A summary is provided of the averages for each of the variables of interest. For example, 39% of organizations have a wellness program. The longer, more detailed presentation provides the averages for each of these variables by region, as well as any significant differences between regions. In addition, that presentation provides analyses on the perception of the quality of available workers. This chart provides the correlations between the variables of interest. For example, there is a correlation of 0.22 between planning to hire and finding positions hard to fill. This positive and significant correlation demonstrates that organizations who are planning to hire are also likely to find those positions hard to fill. Also of interest is the positive and significant correlation between separation and hiring and separation and planning to hire, meaning that organizations that had separations last year, hired last year, and are also planning to hire new employees this year. This is a positive indicator. The positive correlations tell us that organizations that support training also have wellness programs. The correlations that are bolded and underlined are statistically significant. The positive correlation between quality of workers and total employment suggests that larger organizations perceive a higher quality of available workers. The next slide shows whether each region was higher or lower than average on each variable. A down arrow indicates that the region is below the average on that variable, and an up arrow indicates that the region is above the average on that variable. This chart can be difficult to interpret given that some variables are positive and some are negative. For example, a down arrow on the hard to fill variable can be considered a good thing. So the next slide presents the same information, but presented in a different way. For the good variables, the up arrow becomes a plus sign. But for the negative variables, namely separation, using a recruitment agency, and finding positions hard to fill, the up arrow becomes a negative sign. This chart can be used to present an overall picture of each region. More plus signs for each region could be considered to be good news for that region. We can get a picture of each region by examining this slide in more detail. For example, if you compare Bruce Grey Huron-Perth and Waterloo Wellington Dufferin, both regions have higher than average unemployment rates and participation rates, and yet they vary on several other variables. Employers in the Bruce Grey Huron-Perth region are below average on offering wellness programs and supporting training. They have had separations in the past year, have not been hiring as much as other regions, are not planning to hire, are finding positions hard to fill, and find the quality of available workers to be lower than other regions. Contrast that with Waterloo Wellington Dufferin, where employers have been hiring, are planning to hire, are supporting training, and are not finding positions difficult to fill. In addition, there is a perception of a higher quality of available workers. We are interested in working with each region to understand the story of what these findings mean for their region. We can then decide on future, more in-depth analysis that would be of value to all stakeholders. Going forward, we are interested in discussing the implications of these findings with stakeholders, as we will be seeking to publish this analysis in academic journals and present at academic conferences. Our future analysis will also include regression, and after subsequent years of data collection, we will also conduct longitudinal analysis. We would ask that you please cite this presentation with our permission. Please email us at the email addresses provided with any questions, feedback, or thoughts on interpretation of the findings. We look forward to hearing from you.